Welcome to the channel, friends. So today's video is going to be covering 7 dislikes of the Polaris Sportsman 850 and 1000 XP, which are very similar machines. Now, I will also follow up and do a 7 likes video on these same machines here. So I have my wife's 850 and my XP 1000 or 1000 XP, whichever one you want to call it. This is a 2018 Hunter Edition, fully loaded, and this is a 2020 Premium Trail, which also is pretty much fully loaded. Okay, I want to talk about 7 dislikes. Now, obviously, I have these machines since they were brand new, and they're still in my possession. I still like them, but I still want to talk about 7 dislikes that people might want to know before they buy a Polaris Sportsman. In particular, like I said, the 850 and 1000 XP. Now, the very first thing I would say is that the storage compartments on these things, they're not watertight, and they're not tight at all for dust or any kind of debris. So what I'm talking about is this front compartment, okay? It's very loose fit, and a lot of dust gets in there. Same thing with the rear compartment, which I have covered up with that milk crate right now that I use as a storage container. But they are not watertight, and they're not tight at all. There's going to be dust in there. If you ride on the trail, after you're done riding, you're going to guarantee that there's going to be dust in here, okay? There's nothing that you can do about it. Every time I go out, all the stuff I have in here gets completely either wet or completely full of dust and dirt, and it's kind of annoying. Even though there's a nice generous seal in this, foam seal, it doesn't matter. It's just that this thing moves around so much. There's so much flex in this right here. The seal would have to be thicker, okay? Same thing for the rear. This thing gets full of water. I actually replaced the drain plug on the bottom on the inside. There's a plug that kind of fit loosely. I ended up replacing it with a conical shaped like rubber plug, silicone plug, and that works great instead of using the OEM one. But even though that does work, the top seal is very similar to the one you have here in the front, and it does not seal well because of it juking around and moving around. It ends up not sealing correctly, okay? And then you get dust and debris in there and water. I don't know how water gets in there because this is higher up compared to the front. It just does. So that's my number 1 complaint or dislike, is that the storage areas on these ATVs get completely full of water and dust and debris. No matter what you do, you go on a light trail ride, they're going to be full. Okay, so don't expect to keep your stuff clean or dust free when you have everything stored in there. Let's go on to number 2. That's going to be the wheel bearings are completely loose and kind of trash and hard to grease. So if you don't know already, like the Polaris wheel bearings, they're notoriously for having a lot of wobble and play in them, even when brand new. And the same thing happened to this 1000 XP when I first got it. The wheel bearing was so loose and so bad that you can see there's some kind of camber going on when you look at it from behind. I'm not sure if you can tell, but this machine is very wobbly when I jack it up and I, kind of manhandle the wheel back and forth, left and right, up and down. There's a ton of play, even when it's brand new, okay? To the point where it looks like it has a little excess of camber, negative camber. But that's just an inherent thing with the Polaris machines. Their wheel bearings are like complete crap. There's too much play or tolerance, whatever you want to call it. It ends up being that the wheel is really loose and like has a lot of wobble. It hasn't caused any issues. As you can see, these machines still run, but that leads me to the next thing, which is they're hard to grease, okay? Which is part of number 2. They're hard to grease because you have to take the whole hub assembly apart, the whole knuckle off, and grease it with a tool from the inside. You have to buy a special tool and then go ahead and disassemble the whole hub to grease it. They couldn't come up with a way to just grease it from the outside, remove your center cap, and grease it either from the center cap like a Dexter axle does on a trailer, or from like one of the top points on the inside. Okay, you're telling me they couldn't do that? Put a grease fitting on there? But that's another thing that annoys me. They're hard to grease, and the wheel bearings are notoriously full of play brand new, okay? That, for an expensive machine, as expensive as these are, this thing was like $13,000. I believe this one was $11,000 when we bought it brand new. All right, so let's go move on to number 3, which is complete confusion when it comes to trim levels. So throughout the years in the marketing, or whatever they do with the marketing kind of side of things, the model year names and feature changes are just like completely confusing, and they will take away all sorts of stuff from the machine, okay? So as you can see, like these have like the premium upgraded seats, you know, the arched A-arms and things like that. You know, that's the big thing, is that they take away the arched A-arms, or they take away the seat and give you a regular seat, even though they'll call it the ultimate or the premium. This one here for the 2020 actually was fully loaded. So when they gave you a premium trail, they gave you everything, the arched A-arms, and then the upgraded seat and some other things, okay? And in certain colors. But the year after this, like 2021, the premium trail, they took away the arched A-arms and they took away the seat. And they also took away, as you can see on mine has four calipers, okay? 4 calipers, 2 in the rear, 2 in the front. On this here, they took away one of the calipers. So on the left side, it doesn't have a caliper, so it only has 3 calipers in total on the machine, on my wife's 850. Now, does it need it? No, probably doesn't. But for some reason, they put it on the Hunter Edition, the 2018, they put 4 calipers. So they had no problem putting it on this guy, but for some reason, they decided to just skimp out and take out a caliper on this model year, okay, premium trail, which comes with everything you can possibly think of. You know, it has the heated grips. Both machines have heated grips and heated throttle, upgraded seat. Man, you name it. These machines have everything. And I also put the halo projector lights on them, okay, on both machines. All right, so let's move on to number 4, which is the factory PVT snorkels are set way too low on these machines. Now, these are off-road machines and should be able to take on some water. But from the factory, the snorkel for the PVT exhaust is like literally right above the tire, okay, at the same height. So once you go over some water or into some water that's just about the height of the tire, guess what? Your machine's gonna stop moving because the belt got wet and there's no more drive. You cannot drive the machine anymore because the belt box is completely full of water because they put the snorkel so low. But as you can see here, I have stealth snorkels that I custom made for these machines, which relocates the snorkels up to here, right underneath the headlight housing. Complete stealth snorkel kit. I have many videos detailing how I did that, and I have them for sale as well. But that is one thing that bothers me, is that the factory snorkels, the exhaust is very low on the PVT housing, and the intake is literally right above the engine, taking in hot air. Okay, that's really good for the winter time, but for most of the time, when the engine's hot, you don't want hot air trying to cool down a belt box. All right, so let's move on to number 5. Number 5 is going to be adjusting the coilover suspension is a nightmare and leads to busted knuckles. The tools suck. Okay, so the little tool they give you to adjust these coilovers, the little spanner tool, okay, is terrible. It's tiny. It doesn't have a lot of leverage. And every time I try to adjust these, which I do have to adjust these because the winter time, I go and adjust it for the plow. So I stiffen it up and then I loosen it up to about halfway for the for trail riding during the actual riding season. Okay, so I will tell you, these things are a complete nightmare. It's so tight in there, and you have to put a lot of force on that little tool. And guess what happens? You slip off the little spanner ring, the little adjustment ring, and you bust your knuckles on this. If you make sure you wear gloves when you do this, because you will have some issues. Okay, the tool sucks. They should have gave us a better tool to adjust the coilovers, or some better method to do it, because there's way too much preload and tension on those springs, and there's just not enough throw room. There's just not enough area to swing the tool, okay, to do it right. So I end up putting an extension on the tool, and I wear gloves when I do this. That way I don't bust up my hands and bust up my knuckles and have blood all over my hands after I'm done finishing adjusting the suspension. Alright, so moving along to number 6. That's going to be the tool pouch kit sucks. It's terrible. And what I'm talking about is this right here. They give you this tiny little thing to hold a bunch of tools, and it's complete junk. They really could have gave us something a little more substantial, something that's a little bit bigger, something that has more pouches in it, something that actually holds the tools. These are too big to be even inside this little pouch. So it would have been nice if they gave us something to hold our registration, just something a little bit bigger, okay? It just sucks about using this, and it's all beat up and it's falling apart because the tools are too big to actually fit inside of it, and it's all chewed up because of it. So they could have gave us something a little bit better to hold tire patches, to hold our registration. Like I said, it would have been really nice touch. Something about the size of this thing right here. You know, something that was zip-up container or pouch, a little bit bigger than this one. This is obviously for my tire repair kit and my air compressor there. So it would have been nice to have something like that instead of this little chintzy, you know, kind of bullshit thing for the tools. You know, it's always nice to have tools on the trail because things will happen and you want to be well prepared. So that kind of bothers me, is that they could have spared a little bit more expense on a better pouch. It doesn't have to be like a leather bound pouch. It could have been like, you know, like I said, just a little bit bigger, have a little bit more room for additional items while out in the trail, in trail riding, and if things occur. Also, I want to cover number 7. So number 7 is going to be our last one, and that is the lack of aggressive tires from the factory. So as you can see here, I have a set of ITP bead locks on both machines, and I have the Maxxis Bighorn Originals on both machines. I love these tires. These tires are completely awesome. I had the Blackwater Evos on my XP1000. I also love those. The XP1000 from the factory came with some bullshit Goodyear tires. Even though it was the Hunter Edition, like, you know, upgraded model with all the bells and whistles, the tires were kind of shit, okay? They weren't that great. This machine here, the 2020 Premium Trail, actually came with some pretty decent tires, but the lugs just weren't deep enough. The Duro Power Grip 2s, those were really good tires. They kind of mimic the Bighorns, but these Bighorn Originals have deeper lugs and bigger lugs, which are great for mud and all-terrain. So I love these tires here. I'm going to be sticking with these tires for a long time because they're just great overall tires for everything I do. And they can handle mud and snow plowing and everything. But that is a gripe of mine. That was number 7. The lack of aggressive tires from the factory. That's a Polaris thing, okay? It seems like Can-Am does a better job at supplying more aggressive, deeper lug tires from a factory unit when they provide it to a customer, or when they kind of pitch it. But that was my 7 dislikes on the Polaris Sportsman. If you guys have any dislikes of yours, place them down below. I want to know exactly what you think. If you have any other ones that I didn't mention, I just find it interesting that they've been making these Polaris machines for so long and they still couldn't get it right. You know, the storage compartment's leaking is kind of a bummer. The wheel bearings are kind of crap, if you ask me, for the price of this machine. They could have done a better job at that, and being able to grease them much more easily with a grease zerk, things like that. But stay tuned and check out my 7 likes of a Polaris Sportsman next. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.